Welcome to this deep dive, all about what happens when you ditch the data and run unplugged, just for you.
That's right.
We're getting these insights from rockingultra.com,
Okay.
which is a blog with articles on training and mindset for runners, from like total newbies
Yeah.
to people who run ultra marathons.
Right.
And get this, our guides for this journey
Yeah.
are AI voices. Summarizing Rocking Ultra's wisdom, no headphone adjustments needed.
Yep.
It really is us.
Think of us as your super speedy reading buddies.
Yeah. So
Rocking Ultra really digs into the mental side of running,
Right.
And this whole idea of going tech-free, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
They even suggest that it can actually make you a better runner
Wow.
and lead to a deeper connection with the sport.
That's a pretty bold claim.
It is.
I mean, technology has totally revolutionized the way we run now.
Oh, yeah,
GPS watches and all that stuff.
for sure.
They give us so much data,
Yeah, it's incredible.
Maybe it's time to unplug, like Rocking Ultra suggests, and just see what happens.
Well, it's not about like rejecting technology altogether. I mean,
Right.
for competitive runners especially.
Yeah.
Data is super important for optimizing their training,
Yeah.
making sure they don't overexert themselves
Right.
and, tracking their progress.
Exactly.
But as Rocking Ultra points out, there's like this potential downside,
Oh, yeah.
You can become so dependent on data
Yeah.
that it can actually take the joy out of running.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I've definitely been there,
Yeah.
obsessing over pace, mileage,
Yeah.
instead of just like enjoying the run,
Yeah.
just being present,
For sure.
almost like I was serving the data instead of it serving me.
Absolutely. That's exactly the point Rocking Ultra makes. They argue that when you unplug, you shift your focus from all those external metrics to your internal cues. So instead of like checking your watch constantly,
Yeah.
you start paying attention to your breath, your stride, how your heart is beating.
So instead of my GPS telling me how fast I'm going,
Right.
I'm like actually tuning in to
Yeah.
how my body feels.
Exactly. And when you're not pressured to hit specific numbers all the time, running becomes way more about self-expression than self-evaluation.
I see.
So you're free to, just enjoy the experience.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Really liberating.
it is.
But to be honest, the thought of running without my GPS watch makes me kind of nervous.
I get.
What if I get lost?
Yeah.
How will I know if I'm even improving it?
It's a common concern, and Rocking Ultra acknowledges that initial anxiety,
Okay.
but they emphasize that running unplugged actually strengthens your intuition. You learn to recognize your body's signals,
Oh, okay.
which is so valuable, especially, if your tech ever fails.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us.
All the time.
Dead batteries, lost signal.
I've been there.
Yeah. But I'm still not quite clear on how intuition actually helps me become a better runner.
Right.
Can you give me an example?
Well, think about pacing.
Okay.
A data-driven runner relies on their watch to tell them when to speed up
Right.
or slow down.
Yeah.
But when you run unplugged,
Uh-huh.
you learn to distinguish between manageable discomfort and pushing too hard
Okay.
based on how your body feels.
Interesting.
You start to intuitively adjust your pace, based on the terrain,
Yeah.
how tired you are.
So it's not just about having backup skills for when the tech fails.
Right.
It's about
It's more than that.
developing a much deeper understanding
Exactly.
of my body's capability.
Of what your body can do.
Yeah.
And that understanding can help you become a more well-rounded runner
Yeah.
and more adaptable, which
Well,
Rocking Ultra points out
Huh?
is a big part of long-term success in running.
This is starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's like unplugging allows you to tap into a whole other level of awareness
For sure.
that you might miss when you're constantly looking at a screen.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of something else Rocking Ultra talks about.
Okay.
Mindfulness. Could you explain how that plays into running unplugged?
Sure. So mindfulness is all about paying attention to the present moment,
Yeah.
without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And Rocking Ultra suggests that running unplugged can be a really great way
Okay.
to cultivate that awareness, right?
Right.
So instead of getting lost in your thoughts or,
Right.
fixated on all that data,
Yeah.
you become more in tune with your body, your surroundings, and just the simple joy of moving.
Yeah, I could see how that would make it a much richer experience.
Definitely.
But let's be real, sometimes our tech fails us.
Oh, yeah.
Even when we're not planning on unplugging.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what does Rocking Ultra have to say about those moments?
Well, they have a pretty interesting take on tech fails, actually.
Okay. Instead of looking at them as setbacks, they actually reframe them as valuable learning experiences.
Okay. I'm intrigued. How so?
Well, think about it. When your GPS watch dies in the middle of a run,
Oh, yeah.
you're suddenly forced to rely on your instincts.
Right.
You have to pace yourself without those external cues.
Mm-hmm.
Judge your effort based on feel instead of data.
So it's like a crash course in self-reliance.
Exactly. And Rocking Ultra highlights that those moments can actually boost your confidence.
Oh, wow.
You realize that your body is this incredible instrument,
Yeah.
even without the tech backup.
Right.
So you start to trust your inner compass a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like those unexpected challenges force you to tap into a deeper level of resourcefulness that you might not even know you have.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that we're often more capable than we think.
For sure. And Rocking Ultra emphasizes that these lessons from tech fails.
Okay.
They go way beyond
Right.
running. That they're about building resilience and self-reliance, which can benefit you in all areas of life, not just running.
So it's not just about becoming a better runner. It's about
Right. It's bigger than that.
becoming a more adaptable and resilient human being.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I find so interesting about Rocking Ultra's approach.
Yeah.
They're not just giving you training tips. They're like encouraging you to think about your motivations,
Yeah.
and your relationship with running.
It's more holistic.
It is.
I'm really liking this perspective.
Me too.
All this talk about unplugging is making me realize how much I depend on data. Not just in running.
Yeah.
But just like in life.
In general.
It's like I'm always looking for that external validation.
Right.
Instead of trusting my own judgment.
That's so common in our data-driven world.
Yeah.
But as Rocking Ultra points out, there's a lot to be said for cultivating intuition and connecting with your own inner wisdom,
Right. And it seems like running unplugged is a pretty effective way to practice that skill.
I think so.
But I think it's important to clarify, Rocking Ultra isn't suggesting we should just
Right.
throw away our GPS watches forever, right?
No, they're not saying get rid of data completely.
Oh.
It's more about balance.
Okay.
And intentionality. And actually, they give some really practical tips.
Oh, good.
About how to reintegrate data.
Okay.
So you can benefit from the technology.
Right.
Without letting it rule your whole running experience.
Right. And this deep dive is based on articles from their blog, rockyultra.com.
Yes.
They go into a lot more detail there.
For sure.
And you can also check out their books.
They have several books on running.
Yeah, which are available on Amazon.
Right, on Amazon.
Yeah. So it sounds like they've given this a lot of thought.
They have.
So what are some of their suggestions for striking that balance?
Well, one thing they recommend is alternating between plugged and unplugged runs.
Oh,
so you might use data for your hard workouts, when you're doing intervals or trying to hit a specific pace.
Yeah.
But then you could leave the tech behind on your recovery runs.
Okay.
Or when you're just exploring a new trail.
So sometimes you let the data guide you.
Right.
And sometimes you let your intuition take over.
Exactly. It's about finding a rhythm that works for you.
I like that. What else do they suggest?
Another tip is to be more selective about the data you track.
Okay.
So instead of getting bogged down in all the metrics your watch can give you, just pick one or two that are most relevant to your goals.
Okay.
That way you can use data to inform your training without getting overwhelmed or letting it dictate your every move,
That's a great point. It's about simplifying things and just focusing on what matters.
Right. But even with those strategies, it's easy to fall back into old habits,
Yeah, for sure.
So Rocking Ultra really emphasizes the importance of self-awareness. Checking in with yourself and asking, is my use of data making me feel empowered or is it making me feel anxious?
Oh, okay.
Is it helping me reach my goals or is it actually holding me back?
It sounds like they're advocating for a more conscious and intentional approach to running.
Definitely.
Where we're not just mindlessly following numbers, but actually making choices.
Exactly.
About how we use technology to make the experience better.
That's what it's all about.
You know what? This conversation has been really eye-opening for me.
Good.
I'm starting to see running unplugged.
Yeah.
Not just as a way to improve my performance, but as a way to learn more about myself, and a path to a more fulfilling and balanced life.
Absolutely. And that's what Rocking Ultra is all about.
Yeah.
They want to help runners find that deeper connection to the sport and to themselves.
Right.
And if you want to explore these ideas even further, make sure to visit their blog.
Okay.
It's rockingultra.com.
rockingultra.com.
Or you can check out their books on Amazon.
Great. I definitely, this deep dive has given me a lot to think about.
Good.
I'm actually excited to keep exploring these concepts.
Awesome.
And see how they can affect my own running journey.
Yeah, I think you'll learn a lot.
As we've been talking about this whole unplugging thing and, trusting our intuition, it's hitting me that it goes way beyond just running.
Right.
It's like the stuff we learn on the run
Yeah.
can actually change how we deal with challenges in other parts of life, too.
Absolutely. And Rocking Ultra talks about this as well, They emphasize that running unplugged can really help you build this mindset of self-trust and resilience, and that can benefit you in everything you do.
So it's not even just about, like, ditching the GPS watch.
No.
It's about ditching the need for, like, constant feedback from outside sources.
Right. Like you don't need all that external input all the time.
Yeah, and just learning to trust our own internal guidance system.
Exactly. Recognizing that we can actually make decisions and solve problems and get through challenges without always needing those outside cues or data.
Yeah, like we're training our inner compass to be more reliable.
That's a great way to put it.
Both on and off the run.
I like that.
But how do we actually do that?
Well, Rocking Ultra talks a lot about intentionality.
Oh.
Like approaching running in life with a clear sense of purpose.
Right.
They want runners to ask themselves, why am I even doing this? And let the answer to that question guide their training and their mindset.
So, like, if your goal is to get faster.
Right.
You'd probably use data to track your progress.
Yeah, see how you're doing.
And adjust your plan.
Yeah.
But if you're running to, like, connect with nature and de-stress, then you might choose to just unplug.
Yeah, just be in the moment.
And focus on being present, right?
Exactly. It's all about matching what you do with what you want.
Aligning your actions with your intentions.
Yes, and that mindfulness is a big theme in a lot of what Wrecking Ultra writes about.
So we shouldn't just blindly follow the numbers.
Yeah, it's not about that.
We should be making choices.
Make deliberate choices.
About how we use data and technology to actually improve our well-being.
I think that's key.
This has been really eye-opening.
Good, I'm glad.
I'm starting to see running unplugged, not just as a way to improve my running, but as a way to practice self-discovery and find a more fulfilling and balanced life.
And that's what Rocking Ultra is all about, helping runners find that connection to the sport and to themselves.
Exactly. And unplugging isn't about rejecting technology. It's about finding a balance, right?
Finding that sweet spot where you can actually experience the joy of running.
Yeah.
And, let it transform you.
Right.
And don't forget, you can find tons of articles about this and all sorts of running stuff on their blog.
Okay.
rockingultra.com.
rockingultra.com.
You can also check out their books. They're on Amazon.
Perfect. This whole conversation has given me a brand new perspective on running.
That's awesome.
It's not just about, like, chasing personal records or logging miles. It's really about the journey.
Yeah.
The connection. And figuring ourselves out.
I love that. And those are lessons that stick with you way after you're done running.
It's been great exploring all these ideas with you.
Me too.
I feel really inspired to try this whole unplugging thing.
You should. It's amazing.
And see what I can learn from it, both on and off the track.
I think you'll be surprised by what you discover.
Well, that's perfect.
And, sometimes the most rewarding journeys are the ones where you don't have a map.
Right.
And you just have to trust your gut to guide you.
Yeah.
Happy running.
That's a great way to end it. This has been your deep dive into running unplugged.
Curated just for you.
We hope all these insights from rockingultra.com have been helpful.
And inspiring.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep running.
And keep listening.